Call meeting order. Join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon and welcome to the meeting of the Bryan Board of Public Affairs for June 21st, 2022. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the June 7th, 2022 meeting. Board, you've been furnished with a copy of the minutes. If there aren't any additions or corrections, I'll accept the motion to approve.
So moved, Jim.
I'll second it.
Dick?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Next is a hearing of public concerns. Anyone present that would like to address the board that is not on the agenda? Seeing none, back to the clerk treasurer's report. Pat.
Yes, the board's been presented with the clerk treasurer's report for the month ending May 31st, 2022. I'd like to make a motion to approve the clerk treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Karen? Yes. Jim?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And next is a resolution. Pat, would you number read, please?
Resolution number 30, 2022. Resolution authorizing the Director of Utilities to execute an agreement with Annexter for the electric department's 34.5 kV to 69 kV line conversion project materials.
This is a bid for the materials required to replace like 2,700 feet of overhead 34.5 transmission line and replace it with a 69 kV overhead transmission line. This would start at the power plant, basically run down the alley between Emmett and Garden Street, and it'll run all the way north up to East Edgerton Street and ending near the 600 block of Edgerton Street. This project will provide basically just the materials needed to construct the 69 line and tie from existing 69 into our outer loop that we have running around the 60 that runs down Edgerton Street there. This would allow us to generate onto the 69 while with the GE and the Nordberg. So this is all part of that power plant substation project. This would give us that loop around the city that we have, and then it would give us an interconnection to be able to generate that those two pieces of equipment, the GE and the Nordberg generators onto the 69. So we had a bid opening that was June 8th at noon, and we issued I think 5 bid books, and we received 2 bids. One was from Wesco Annexter, which have kind of merged now. And power line supply were the 2, and we reviewed the bids, and we're recommending that the board award the project to Wesco Annexter for $159,695.39. They were the lowest and the best bid. Anybody have any questions? I'll try to answer them.
Did they, I see in the information that there's a possible price increase on bid materials. Did they kind of give any kind of limit on what kind of a price increase that could be?
It's pretty common practice that I've seen it with everything so far, and it's just I mean, you saw with the truck bid that we did with the steel prices, how it's things that are beyond their control that, you know, they have to pass along from that time frame that we put it in there. And I guess as long as it's acceptable and they can document it, technically it's not a lot, but that's always thrown in there to protect them probably more than anything. But
I see.
In the material world today, that's happens, and then we've done it before, usually with a change order for it. Right. But that's beyond their control.
And I see on some of this material list that some of these lead times, and the highest one on here I seen was 36 weeks.
yeah, that's like basically why we want to get this moving, to get in line, you know, basically to get our stuff ordered, and you know, probably everything is you know, lead times on everything are pretty much, pretty crazy right now. But we get this in and at least get on their list. And hopefully, we haven't, I don't think there's anything over 6 months. Too much was there on there? I don't believe.
There's 1, 2, 3 items that were over 30 weeks.
30 weeks, okay. Yeah.
I noticed the poles specified are ductile steel, is that what they call it, ductile steel?
Yeah.
I know they're a little more expensive than wood poles.
They are a little bit more expensive. Their lifespan is close to double, between 50 and to 100 years. You know, you don't have insect decay or woodpeckers, or they're perfectly straight poles. And for a transmission line, this will be underbuilt with the 12 kV, so that it's the same poles that we used out there at the industrial park substation when we built that 69 out there. And I believe that they're going to last a good long time, probably a lot longer than a normal pole, wood pole would be. And of course, anybody knows the price of wood is up there also. So I mean, either one of those. It might be a little bit more expensive per pole, but I think in the long run, I think it's going to be what's best for a transmission line.
Seems like you're seeing more steel poles used, not by us necessarily, but by other companies
Yeah.
in their transmission.
Yeah, I see a lot of them going up.
And our employees will be doing the labor.
Yes, yep, our crews will be installing it like they did out there at Industrial Drive.
And the LISCO bid was under our engineer's estimate.
It was, yep, and that was all in the budget. I think we budgeted $225,000. The bid came in at $159,000. So there may be a few other parts that we have to purchase out of that $225,000 that we budgeted for, but it is well under budget.
Any other questions?
I'd like to make a motion, we adopt resolution 30.
I'll second.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Next is a request to place the operations manager on regular employment status. Jackie?
Good evening. Tonight we respectfully request to place Derek Schultz on regular employment status. He has been our operations manager for the last 6 months, and during that time he has continued to increase his knowledge in the electric and communications and maintain his good leadership skills that he was showing as the water superintendent.
Any questions for Mr. Shaw?
Well, it's pretty hard to say anything bad about it. I'd just like to say, Derek, you've proven yourself every step of the way. You've worked yourself up. You're doing a great job where you're at. I'm blessed to have you where you're at to help him. Thank you. So you've earned it, my friend.
I agree, you've involved
Yeah.
yourself in everything that's come along since you've taken over. Yeah. I'm sure you're an asset to Nate, keeping things.
My life is so much easier now, I'll tell you. I think he's been a
We see
great
it.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We do.
So with that, I'd like to make a motion that we move Derek up to operations manager.
Employment status. To regular employment status.
To regular employment status.
Yes, regular.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll second.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Next is a request for a merit adjustment for a part-time employee.
Yes, this evening we are asking for Chris Yeager to have a slight merit adjustment. He has been with the BMU electric team since 2020, and during that time he's proven to be an asset beyond just the reading of the meters that he was hired to do. He's also assisted in other areas, and he's been a great attribute to the team.
I've seen Chris out working. It seems that he does everything asked of him. Can I make a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Next is a request for a merit adjustment for a part-time employee.
No, next is a
Oh, I'm sorry,
request.
request to hire a part-time electric department employee.
Right, thank you.
Very well, you bet.
This evening, we are requesting to hire Noah Landell as a part-time laborer for the electric department. We are currently working short-staffed within that electric department. Noah will work 3 days a week assisting the line workers and potentially help with reading of the meters and anything for AMI. Noah does have a diverse background and experience from ground and building maintenance to operation of the heavy equipment, as well as some electrical work on the industrial side. So I should note that adding a part-time position does not affect the budget at all. It remains well within our budget.
Looks like he has all the qualifications to fit right in.
Even got a Class A CDL.
Yes, he does.
That's unusual.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we hire him.
I'll second it.
Dick?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, affect semi-monthly disbursements. Can I have can I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
Second. Annette?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Next is comments from BP and staff. Nate?
Yeah, I'd just like to give the board a little update. I was able to, and I think Dick was able to also, attend the APPA, which is the American Public Power Association's national conference down in Nashville, Tennessee, last week. It was attended by well over 1,300 people representing public power communities from around the country. So it was a great networking experience for one. To hear all of these different public power communities, and was able to vote on a few things, throughout. There was people even from Guam there. I mean, there was a lot of communities, big and small, big fish, little fish. I mean, it was very interesting. And during that time, they had opening sessions and stuff like that people attended, but they also had breakout sessions, which they call, where you can go and basically pick your interest. So I was able to attend multiple breakout sessions for electric vehicles, broadband, supply chains, whatever I thought that was interesting to go to. And a lot of it was very interesting. Some of it, really didn't apply to our community, but it was a good educational thing to see what other communities are doing. I think one of the most interesting things, I think Dick will agree, and I'll let him speak if he chooses to, but it's this speaker, her name was Marcy Russell. She was an economic forecaster, former chief economist for CNBC, very entertaining, I will say. No politics or anything like that, but in summary, she was basically talking about supply chain issues and basically getting better, that she thought, within the next 16 to 18 months time frame. I mean, she said this was unusual because it was a pandemic. I mean, anything else, when production, and you have a pandemic or a global recession that we had, people slow down and they stop producing things. For automobiles, for example, manufacturing, everything kind of slows down. But the opposite thing happened. They slowed down and they made the wrong call. Everybody was out buying things. They had money and they still spent, which created that big divide that we had. Which makes sense when you put it into terms like this. People put in swimming pools, they remodeled their kitchens and bathrooms, replaced appliances that didn't need replacing, all these different things. And so, things got kind of crazy. There were shortages everywhere, and we're still dealing with that. I mean, our economy is set up to occasionally have a hurricane and deal with that. But when you're talking global, and this is worldwide with China and all over the country, it was a pretty big deal. So she believes that things will get better, and I do too. I mean, I think that they will get better, and I'm hoping that they get better. Probably not fast enough for a lot of people, but this is all generally speaking, and even the oil prices with Russia and Ukrainian war and different things like that. But they get the oil rigs, we're down oil rigs, and by the time they get those up and running again, there may be stranded assets, but they'll probably do it anyway. And yes, definitely not fast enough for anybody that's bought gasoline lately or any of these fuels, but there is a bright side, and this isn't typical recession. This is brought on by a pandemic, so I believe that that things will get back. But what I found really interesting, I think, about her little story that she was telling was that people won't get better, and that's the hiring process. And I mean, you look around and you will trip over a sign for help wanted, and that probably will not get better. That's something that she didn't see an immediate turnaround. Basically for a couple of reasons. One, there was a mass exit of people retiring. Their 401ks were really high and they've had enough, and millions of people retired. Number one. Number two is our population has been declining even prior to the pandemic hitting. We were on a decline as far as our population growth. I mean, a lot of people would like to say that, and I won't say it, but millennials, let's use them for an example, that they don't want to work. That's what a lot of people say. Well, to be honest with you, they're all working. They're all working, and there's nobody left. That's it. There's just not people to work. The bottom line is that, and how do you cure that? That's the problem. That's why there's not an immediate, a fix for it right now. It's going to take years. Just like, she made comments that years ago when these millennials were graduating, they were applying for colleges. They were like hoping they'd get into this college or this college. She was basically stating that in 18 years from now, you'll be able to get into any college that you want to.
Your grandkids are going to go to Harvard.
Right, could go to Harvard if they chose to, because there's going to be not enough children to even fill up a kindergarten class
She
in
said
18 years.
that during the pandemic, you would have thought there had been a baby boom because everybody stayed home. And last year had 400,000 less newborns. And
Instead of doing that, they were watching Netflix reruns.
Right.
Instead of doing, so it wasn't exactly what people had thought. So yeah, it's a declining population, and how do you fix that? I don't know for sure. Technology is one way, by automating. It's unfortunate, but it's a long-term problem, and we see it. And the way I see it is, I look back when we hired a water distribution guy. We had 100 applicants, and I'm not kidding you, we had 100 applicants. Today, we're trying to fill a water treatment plant position by lowering and saying it's a training thing offered, and we are lucky to get 10 people. So, I mean, reality is sinking in. It affects us here. It affects the whole country. But I just thought that was interesting, and something that I learned that really interested me. And if I can find more information, I'd like to share some of her stuff with you, because it's pretty enlightening as far as that goes.
Did you come out of it feeling better about things or worse about that?
I felt good about the first part of it. The second part is like yes, that's going to be a challenge. And there's a couple ways to fix it, but some of it's political and some of it's not. To be able to fix these and solutions. But we got to take care of our people. That's like even the people that we're getting here. I think it's important that we treat them right and we take care of them, because it's hard to find people. We don't have people beating our door down to come here. So let's take care of the people that we have, the industry that we have. I mean, I've heard people say from manufacturing that, I heard one say that we would like to have 100 people. I heard another manufacturer say I could use 40 more people. So, it's unfortunate, but it's down to that. So we have to take care of the people, the manufacturing and everything that we have, and just hope that we can attract people by treating them right and doing the right things.
There's so many places out there that are looking for help.
Yeah, it's crazy. And just on top of that, I want to congratulate Derek and thank you for everything that you've done for this last 6 months. It's been great having you in that position, and also welcome to Noah to our team. And I think he'll be a good fit also.
Just to ditto the applications, we used to get 100, 120 applications, and then the last 3 times we've had someone, they dwindle.
Yeah.
So it is real.
Yeah.
Jimmy? No. Derek?
Just a couple quick project updates for you. The backup generator at the water treatment plant, if you haven't been by there, is here. I believe around the 9th or 10th of June. It arrived. The electric department, the water department set it on the pad. A lot of that site work was done last fall with the conduit and pulling most of the wire. This past spring, they installed the transfer switch, and that's all done. There's a little bit of wiring left to do. There's some SCADA work to be done yet. We have some fencing to install, but we're hopeful by the end of July it will be started up and in operation. So we're all excited about that. I know I am. One other project, Alpine Drive, the water department also was installing new 6-inch water main. I think they put in around 500 feet. The main's all installed. They pressure tested it, bacteria tested it. I think this week they're going to start hooking up services, and then they'll have to abandon the old main and do some site restoration. So it's a good job to those guys, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Derek.
Thanks, Derek.
Jackie? No? Mr. Sprow?
Yeah, just congratulations to Derek and welcome to Noah. And don't look for me to spur any baby booms.
Karen?
I want to congratulate you and agree that you have done an awesome job. So appreciate everything you've done. Look forward to what you're going to do in the future too to help. I think that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, congratulations, Derek. You well earned. Welcome, Noah. Welcome aboard. If I may, a little bit about the conference. It was a fabulous conference, as they usually are. Just to add one more thing, this doctor, I had to go to the bathroom for about a half an hour while she was speaking. I didn't want to leave. You know, she was just that. But she changed my perception. I always thought that these young people today are lazy, nobody wants to work, and that's not the case. What happened was a lot of those people, college graduates, people that just got out of college, they couldn't get a job because of the COVID, so they went into the restaurant service business, and then once we come out of COVID, boom, they exited into the workforce, leaving all these restaurants. So I apologize for my backward thinking about young people. It's not that they don't want to work, it's just they're not there. But anywho, this conference was great, and it reminded me, every year I get the opportunity to go, I'm reminded of just how special BMU is as a utility. We are so unique. When we have conversations, Nate and I talk to a lot of people from all over the United States. For a community with 8,500 people, we have a lot of assets. You know, we have our own power dam, our own generation, solar. Everybody goes, how do you got your own power dam? You know, but we're blessed to have what we have. And you know, we talk about how everybody is so forward thinking, 30, 40 years, you know, updating our infrastructure. And I said, yeah, we got a pretty talented team. And they said, well, how's turnover? So we don't have any turnover. What? You know, do you have trouble getting these guys? And no, we pay the people we have extremely well and treat them like gold. But to get to my point, thank you all for the way you think, your forward thinking, your dedication to this utility. You make my job very easy, and I'm very grateful to be your backbone to support you. So thanks for all you do, and Nate, director, from the top on down, everybody does a fabulous job. I just want to say my hat's off to all of you. That's all I have. I'll shut up.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Annette?
I just want to reiterate too, also congratulations to Derek. And then welcome to NOAA. And that's all I have.
Well, I just, yes, congratulations, Derek. I'm truly pleased to have you as an employee. It's a good choice. And welcome to NOAA. I guess I just want to touch a little bit on what you were saying, what Dick was saying about our employees. I wasn't at the conference, but I've heard quite a bit about it. And yeah, it does, I guess it does bring out the fact about that we are fortunate and we are unique. We're fortunate in that we have the assets that we have, the dam and the solar, everything else. You know, it just seems to work for us. I mean, we've managed to hit our quota at a renewable. You know, it's working. And like Dick says, the employees are a big part of it, probably the biggest part of it. We're lucky to have them, and we're lucky to be able to keep them like we do. What more can I say? So with that, we will go into executive session to discuss acquisition of property. I would ask, besides the board members, Nate, Derek, Jimmy, and Pat, please, if you would stay. With that, we'll take a short recess.